I would like the record to show that I am wearing green eyeliner because I put so much work into it and I feel like you can't even tell on camera, so that's fun. Hello everybody, it's Kara from Wild Book Garden, and today I'm here with kind of a Friday Reads / mini TBR. I like doing currently reading updates, and a lot of people do this with Friday Reads, and somehow I've never done a Friday Reads, so that's what I'm doing. But first I'm going to talk about a few books that I'm going to pick from for a weekend readathon. I am also doing the Orilium magical readathon. I'm also doing Fableland again, so I have like other things that I'm reading as well, but on August 13th and 14th, it's just the weekend. There's the Cat Lady Readathon. I will link the info and announcements and everything below, and y'all know I love animals, I love cats. You do not have to be a lady to participate, you do not have to be a cat owner. Those said, you don't even have to love cats, just please don't hate them if you're going to participate, which I think is a fair ask. And yeah, I'm a big fan of cats, so I thought this would be a really fun thing to participate in. I actually thought I was going to have more trouble finding things. Like at first I couldn't think of books that I knew had a cat in them, but when I started looking at some of my like middle grade covers, a lot of them have a cat on the cover. Because the only prompt is that you read books that have a cat in the title, on the cover, or like a cat character in the story. And a lot of these are middle grade because that just seems to be a thing that happens a lot. And I'm not going to read all of these probably over those 2 days, but I will pick from these. And I'm excited. And then, like I said, I will end with a currently reading update to chat about the things I am in progress on. So I'm filming this a little early, but the day it goes up is Friday, the Friday before the readathon. And some of these I know a little bit about, some of them I don't know much about at all. The first one I have is Ottilie Coulter and the Narrowway Hunt by Rhiannon Williams. As you can see, there's like a giant kind of like magical, oh, he's got wings. I think he's got wings. I don't know, he's like a giant, like a big white cat on there. Hopefully there's no like hunting of him involved because that would definitely go against the spirit of the readathon. I hope he's a companion. But this is a middle grade adventure story. Our main character is Ottilie and her brother Gully goes missing. And she finds out that like she has to disguise herself as a boy, and she finds out that boys are being kidnapped and training them to hunt. Rhiannon Williams is, I believe, an Australian author, and the books were just published relatively recently in the US, and I heard this recommended from Elliot Earl Grey Books. I remember she's been really enjoying this series, and this is a good excuse to get to it. Then I have Dream Annie Dream by Waka T. Brown. See, you can see the little little kitty up there. And this is a contemporary book. We're following our main character. Oh my gosh, Annie. I could have cut that part out, but I feel like I should be honest about the number of times I check a character name only to realize it's in the title. But anyway, so our main character is Annie, and she loves musical theater, and she's really, really excited when she gets cast in their school's production, which is The King and I. Like, she can't wait. She's so excited. And then some of her white classmates start saying that she only got cast because she's Asian and the play is about Asian characters. And I think it's about like the racism in the theater industry. This is one of my most anticipated releases. It says it's an uplifting and empowering coming of age story about a Japanese American girl's fight to make space for herself in a world that claims to celebrate everyone's differences but doesn't always follow through. I just think this is going to be wonderful. I love books about theater. I really like the idea of interrogating the places that theater still falls short in terms of representation and just like inclusion, and yeah, like I just think it sounds really great, and I've been wanting to read it for a while. I also have a present. This is from my friend Huck at Badger Reads. It was a birthday present, which I still haven't done. It's like so late, but I still haven't done my birthday haul because I keep like having to put other videos up. So eventually I will. I have a plan for it. It'll probably be near the end of the year, but that's okay. But this is The Cat Who Saved Books by Suzuki Natsukawa, and this is translated from the Japanese by Louise Heel Kawai. Yeah, this is really short, and it's about this boy who his grandfather has recently died, and I think he like leaves him his bookstore or something, and then he gets visited by a cat who like leads him to different people who like aren't taking care of their books, and so he helps him like rescue the books or something. I feel like this is going to be very poignant. Yeah, I think this sounds wonderful. This is like a surprise present from Huck. I didn't know, like I hadn't really had this book on my radar. I think I'd only heard like maybe one person mention it. So this was a lovely surprise, and this is definitely, I think, has to be on my list for this readathon. Then I also have The Midnight Orchestra by Jessica Khoury, and this one I'm kind of bending the rules a little bit because there is a cat mask on the cover. I don't know if that actually counts, but I do really want to read this soon, so maybe it won't be this weekend. But this is the sequel to the Mistwick School of Musicraft, which I really enjoyed. And you guys remember I said at the time that I felt like this could be a whole series because I was just so intrigued by this world where music is used as magic and like the magical school aspect and everything, and we do have a sequel, so I definitely want to get to that. I also love this cover. Whether or not it counts as a cat on the cover, I do want to read that soon. And then the last one I have here is The Book Wanderers by Anna James. This is the first book in the Pages & Co series, and you can see a little black cat there. This is about our main character Tilly, who lives with her grandparents at like the bookshop that they own, and she realizes one day that she has the power to, I think, like bring people out of books, or does she go into books? Maybe both, I'm not sure. But I've just heard great things about this middle grade series, and I own multiple books, so like I should start this. I've been meaning to for a while. It seems like it's going to be really, really lovely and cozy. I did read the first chapter and it definitely felt that way, so I want to finally get to this. So that's kind of my, like, I have 5 options there. I could read other things as well. I'm sure I have other books that have cats involved, but those are kind of a starting point. And I also think it would be fun if I insert some photos or videos of my kitties. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The tabby in white is Lego. The orange tabby is Petey. Those two are brothers. And then the brown tabby with a little bit of ginger and gold is Nala. What better time to show off my cats? Okay, so now getting into the currently reading update. I am currently reading 5 books, which I've been doing a lot better than that. So even though 5 is not awful, it is more than I feel comfortable with right now. Like I'm doing a lot better this year about keeping my currently reading manageable. So 5 is not the worst, but I think I should be doing better. Like I'm used to doing better this year. So I want to get some of these done, and I definitely think I can make progress on these, or like finish a couple of them soon, especially because I've been saving Revolutionary by Colleen Cowley. Like I've been saving that for like the weekend, or like when I can stay up and read very late, like even later than usual. So I would like to finish some of these before I get to that one. We'll see. Okay, so the first one I have here is Akata Witch by Nadia Korafor. This is the first book in the, it doesn't even have the name of the series on it. Like I've seen the name of the series, but okay, I think it's the Nsibidi Chronicles. This is set in Nigeria. We follow our main character Sunny, who is albino, and she ends up finding out that she is a leopard person, which means that she has magical abilities, and it's not quite a magical school novel, but like a little bit. I'm at the point, like I'm actually pretty far in. I've only got like a little more than 100 pages left, I think. So she's like learning more about the world. She's like figuring out more about her powers, and I do really like that that like the powers in this world are like determined by like unique qualities that are often viewed as undesirable by like the regular people. So like Sunny's ability is related to being albino, and so even though like some people treat her really badly because of that, it's like a source of strength here, and I really like that. And I'm enjoying the characters, and I could definitely, like, I want to try and finish this one either today or tomorrow. I can definitely do that. Then I'm also, how many pages? I'm like just over 100 pages into Lady Elma by A.G. Marshall. This is it says the second book in the Solarian Chronicles, but this is actually a prequel, and so I kind of, like, I wanted to read this one first because I don't want to know where this character ends up, because I think she's a side character in the other novel. So this is like a vaguely Spanish-inspired magical world, and our main character is Alma. Once again, it's in the title and I had to check the back of the book. Why do I do this? Anyway, so our main character is Alma, and I think this might be like loosely inspired by Cinderella, like very, very loosely. So our main character Alma is trying to escape her father's new wife by marrying very well, although that doesn't seem to be going as well as she hopes. She also maybe has a thing for the prince, but she doesn't really know if he actually likes her or not, because he's kind of like, he's asking her for help now with some like diplomatic conflict going on. And I am interested to continue this one because I have seen from reviews that like the first part is like, you know, really sweet and fun and interesting, but then the second half is where it really goes in some unexpected directions, and like I think it's going to do some really interesting things with like common fairy tale tropes. which I really like the sound of that. I think that sounds really interesting. One of the only downsides so far is I think I once again picked the wrong love interest, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? I'm not even sure they would rank as like a love interest option. I just thought from the way they were introduced that they were going to be a love interest option, and I don't think that's the case. So, you know, same as usual, I guess. Okay, then I'm also like exactly halfway through The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. I have 2 bookmarks in because one of them I keep at the back when I have to use notes, you know, for the footnotes. I can't believe I'm loving this so much, you guys, because Edith Wharton wrote Ethan Frome, which I read in high school, and I hated. Like, I loathed that book. I cannot believe this is the same author. And I actually started reading this while I was reading The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia because I was loving that and I wanted even more of that vibe, and this book felt like it was going to give me a similar vibe in terms of like some of the character stuff, and it does. I think I was correct. So this is set in Gilded Age New York, and our main character is Newland Archer. He's from a fairly wealthy, fairly well-respected family, and he is engaged to marry this girl named May, and they both really love each other. They're very excited about it, and then May's cousin, the Countess Olenska, comes back into town, and she has just left her abusive husband. And so, of course, everyone in society is like, what are you doing? Like, how dare you? Get out of here. Everyone is like, you know, spreading horrible rumors about her and saying that she shouldn't have done this and all of that. And Newland, to help out May, announces their engagement earlier so that he and his family can kind of like publicly stand by the side of May and her cousin, the Countess Olenska, whose name is Ellen. So he kind of like publicly throws in his lot with them, and they end up spending a lot more time together. And I'm at the point in the book where like he and Ellen are like realizing that they really care about each other as more than friends. And like, I'm not usually a big fan of books that have this kind of like even like emotional cheating, but I feel like this book, for one thing, you kind of know from the premise that it's coming, but also I think the book is doing a really good job of showing like how the characters got to this point. And like, it's hard to explain. I'll have to explain better when I finish it. But so far I don't feel like it's glorifying cheating or anything. Like, I know that's a trope that a lot of people don't enjoy, myself included. But I just think that we're getting a very believably messy series of relationships here. And I can't believe I haven't seen this book talked about on like lists of feminist classics, at least that I remember. Maybe I glossed over it because, again, I hated the only thing I read from this author before. But it is so explicitly feminist. I love it. Like, the writing is fantastic. The humor is brilliant. Like, I can't get over how funny this is. Ethan Frome is one of the most boring, unfunny things I've ever read in my life. And I can't believe this is the same author. The character work is great. Like, I am so emotionally invested. Like, I got to the halfway point because the book is divided into 2 parts. I finished the first part and something happened that was so stressful that I like literally had to put the book down and take a break. So I haven't read this for a few days, but I would like to make some more progress on it soon. Yeah, I want to finish this before the end of the month, and I'm nervous to see how things are going to go, but so far, like, this is one of the biggest surprises of the year for me. I love this so much. Then I also have a buddy read currently going. I actually have a couple others that are going to be happening later in the month as well. That is A Symphony of Stars by Barbara Kloss. This is the 3rd and final book in the Gods of Men trilogy, which is a buddy read with my friend Hannah from Lynn Hermione and Ball Gowns and Books. She's the one who got me into this series, so it seems appropriate that we're buddy reading the last entry, and I'm sorry, Hannah, I have not made very much progress in it. I think we both had kind of a slow start with this one, so I don't feel as bad, but I do want to read some more of this. I can't really say much about like what's happening in this 3rd book, but it's a series I've really been loving. The characters are great, the romance is great, the world building and the conflict and the politics and like the themes and everything I think are really well done. It's really interesting. Big things big things happened at the end of the 2nd book, so I am very interested to see where everything goes and how everything turns out at the end of the series. And then finally, the last book is one that I don't officially have on Goodreads because it's actually part of a reading vlog project that I'll have going up at some point. So you guys are getting kind of a sneak peek of one of the books that is going to be featured. But that is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood, which is a Jane Eyre retelling that is set in Ethiopia. and I am like just over 200 pages into it. I'm about 2/3 of the way, like not quite, into the book, and I am really enjoying it. I really like our main character Andromeda. So the premise for this one is that Andromeda, or Andy, is a Debtera, which means that she is like she cleanses like houses and places of like evil spirits, and the house that she's working on is like the equivalent of like Thornfield Hall, and it is very haunted, or like there's a lot of spirits there that she has to take care of, and yeah, there's been some like twists and turns. There's definitely some creepiness. I really enjoy the characters. I have to say I wasn't like the biggest fan of the love interest at first. Like he was fine. He was 1,000 times better than Mr. Rochester, which is not hard to do. But I didn't like enjoy him as much as I thought I might, given what I'd heard about people really liking the romance. But he is very much growing on me. So I definitely, this is another one that I think I could finish pretty quickly. So I'd like to do that today or tomorrow. Just to like finish these books, but also to make room for my kitty books and for a couple other things that I want to read pretty soon. Okay, everybody, so that was my, I guess, Friday reads, my first Friday reads, very exciting. Talking about the books I'm currently reading and a few things I might want to pick up for the Cat Lady Readathon. Please comment down below and let me know if you are participating in the Cat Lady Readathon, and a book that you're currently reading right now that you're really enjoying. Hopefully you have at least one that you're enjoying. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!